Hey guys, today we're going to be playing around with some new Chanel stuff. I hauled this recently, asked you guys what you would be interested in seeing like dedicated videos to, and I got a lot of responses on a lot of different things, but this Chanel stuff was definitely amongst the most popular. So I have the new 9-pan eyeshadow palette. It's edition number 2, Quintessence. I don't have edition number 1. That was the one with like turquoise and peach in there. I did not get that. Whoop. But this one I decided to pick up because I thought the color scheme was very interesting. But I definitely want to play around with some of these today and show you its performance. I also have this is very hard to read. I also have the multi-use stick in sculpting. So this is like a highlighting stick that I am really excited to try because I've swatched it. It looks beautiful. And I also am going to be using this new Ombre Premier Patine Bronze. And this is a lovely color. So I'm at a very strange point in my makeup because I wanted to go ahead and use this multi-use stick before I powdered. So I have foundation and concealer down, and I want to test this out under powder and over powder. I want to see how well it works in either condition. So I am going to go ahead and just swipe directly onto my skin with this. This has such a wonderful kind of balmy, wet, glossy, satin kind of finish. Really beautiful. The two highlighting sticks that I want to say I use the most is the Hourglass like Vanish Flash highlighting stick, and then also the Pat McGrath highlighters. Those are have like a much more like powdery kind of finish. They're a little bit like drier feeling. Obviously they're a cream product because they're in a stick, but they have like a very distinct like powder feel when you touch them. This does not. This is definitely balmy, almost like a lip balm. Probably not that loose, but a little bit closer to that than like a powdery stick. Oh my God, I'm so hot right now. I took a workout class at like 7 a.m. and it's hours after that right now, and I am still sweating. And I've showered. So what I like about this stick, and I noticed this when I was kind of playing around with it on my hand, and I even kind of put some on my cheek when I was playing with it, is that even though it's really tacky when you first put it on, it definitely starts to sink into your skin. And after a while you can still feel it. I won't say that it dries down completely to like a powder finish or anything like that. It doesn't. Like I just feel a little bit of an emollience, but it's not like tacky anymore. So that was definitely a relief. I thought if it kind of remained that way, that it wouldn't be good. That I thought, you know, it would be really like too tacky for my skin, but it's nice. It really kind of like sinks into your skin and like calms down. So there is the sculpting stick right there. I think for this side, what I'm gonna do is apply some over some powder. So let me get some powder my face, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've just put a light dusting of the Chanel Natural Finish Loose powder all over my face, and you can still kind of see the highlighting effect of that balm shining through. Let's go ahead and try using the stick on this side. I am going to use my finger. That's generally what I do if I want to use as like a cream product over a powder product. I'll use my finger and tap it on because I don't want to move what's underneath too much. Well, I think it works really well over the powder and the foundation that I have down. I don't see any kind of like disintegration of the product underneath. It's kind of sitting on top of it really nicely. And it's giving a relatively similar sheen to this. I think it's a little bit brighter. This has been dulled down just a hint by the powder. So I think if you want something stronger, it'd be nice over the powder. Something a little bit more subdued would be nice under the powder. So I'm gonna try a really super old Chanel foundation brush. I've had this for decades, I think. Anyway, you can just take any sort of flat foundation brush if you wanna try this method, but I'm gonna go ahead and just swipe that over the highlighting stick, sculpting stick, excuse me. Get some on to the brush, and I'm just gonna brush some down my nose and onto my forehead a bit. I wanna see if this method, because sometimes I like to use a brush with cream products like this. I just want to see how that works over like the powder and the foundation. So let me just do a close-up here. I just want to show you this area and my cheeks and everything. I think the brush application was also really fine. I don't feel like I see any movement underneath of the powder or the foundation. I don't feel like it's lifted or shifted at all. And then here is the side that we have a little bit of powder over. And then this is the side with no powder, with it on top of the powder. Well, so far I'm loving this. I really like cream products that are very versatile because if I can only wear them underneath powder, I tend to forget to use them before I powder. It happens often. So if I can use them over powder, all the better. All the better. I'm more likely to use it. So I'm really loving this, and I love the finish that it gives. I really kind of like this glossy balm kind of highlight that it's giving me. So next I want to play with these two guys, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of finish the rest of my face makeup, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've put bronzer, blush, eyebrows on. We are ready for the eyes. I think what I'm going to do, I was thinking about this while I was kind of doing everything else. I'm going to put down the Ombre Premier kind of all over my lids and then accent with a couple of colors from this eyeshadow palette. So I am going to use actually a couple of Chanel brushes that were so kindly gifted to me from a friend that I've made over Instagram. He works at a Chanel counter in California. Anyway, I always reach for the same brushes just out of habit, but I am going to branch out today. So I'm going to use this blender brush, which is part of this like duo brush set. And I am going to dip this into the Patine Bronze. Picks up the product really easily. And I'm just going to put this all over my lid. God, that's so beautiful. I feel like you could be done with your eye look just with this one color. Really blend out the edges. Bring it up as high as you want. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, this color is stunning. But seriously, if you wanted to do a one shadow look, this would be great. I think if you just did kind of like some black eyeliner to accent the eyes, throw on a little mascara, I think this would be wonderful. Maybe like a red lip. I think this would be really, really great. But I really want to try this eyeshadow palette. So, gosh, what are we thinking? I feel like we're seeing a lot of blue looks. So maybe I'll line my eyes with this color, but maybe we'll use some of the less traditional colors, like maybe this red one, this red and the gold. That would be kind of nice. I don't know when I'm posting this, but Lunar New Year is February 5th. So red and gold would be incredibly appropriate for that. So I'm going to put, oh, I'm using another Chanel brush here. This is the Blender Shader brush, and I'm going to use the blender side, dip it into the red. I think what I'll do is kind of dust it over the top edge of the Patine Bronze and see if we can blend that out. God, that's really pigmented. Let me dust some of that excess off. Wow, that blended out beautifully. At first I thought I was gonna have a bit of a red splotch there, but that worked out really, really nicely, and it blends right into that Ombre Premier shade really nicely. Ooh, I like that. Let me try and do the same thing on the other side. That's always the trick, isn't it? Getting to match. Wow, that is really pretty. And I think when you use red shadow, not directly along like your lash line, you know, this is like a little bit removed from my actual eyeball. It doesn't look so much like you have pink eye or anything like that. The Patine Bronze, I think, kind of saves it from looking like that. Let's go in with this shader side, and I'm going to go into this gold shade right here. Just want to see how reflective this is going to be over that Patine Bronze. And I think I'm going to stick this like on the center of my lid here, kind of do a very minor halo eye. Oh, that's pretty. That is very, very metallic. Wow, look at that gold. I'm going to take my shader side and just blend that gold with the red there. I see a little bit of fallout from that gold on my nose here. That's it. Just a little bit on my nose here. This gold shade looks like I wet it, but I did not. It is doing it all by itself. I'm using a dry brush. It is really metallic. Wow. Okay, I'm I'm very impressed. I'm very, very impressed with these shadows so far. I think what I want to do, just to kind of play with as many shadows as possible, I'm going to go into this beigey taupe shade and see how it kind of helps blend out this red onto my brow bone. And I'm going to stick with synthetic brushes. So I'm going to try my Makeup Forever 218 brush. It's like a domed brush, small domed brush. I'm going to go into that taupey shade, and it's darker on my skin, I feel like, than it looks in the pan. That was probably a mistake. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit odd. I don't know if this would probably be better actually as a transition shade versus using it to blend out. So how can we fix this? I'm gonna go in a little bit more with the red here. All right, that red got really bright, but I feel like if the color you're using to blend out is too dark, then if you deepen up the color that you were trying to blend out, then the blending shadow won't be as dark. You know, it's all about relativity. All right, now I'm going to take my Hakuhodo IS05 brush. This is one of their brushes from their synthetic line. I'm going to go into this navy and line my eyes. So here is my eye look using the 9-pan eyeshadow palette. So I really like the way these shadows performed. I think the red blended out beautifully. I think the metallic gold is so super metallic. It really looks like I wet my brush, and I did not. The blue that I used for the eyeliner, really nice, pigmented, went on smoothly and easily. And this Ombre Premier in Patine Bronze is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This was like a beautiful one shadow look. If I just left it there, I would have been really happy. Not that I'm not happy with this, but I would have been perfectly happy with just this on my eyes. I did want to mention the formulas in this palette. They definitely seem different. Like the threes definitely seem different from one another. This definitely seemed the creamiest. And although the brown and the red I think are, you know, could be considered mattes because they're such a creamy formula, they do kind of come off like they have a little bit of a sheen to them, but I wouldn't say that there's any kind of like shimmer actually in the shadow. And then these three metallics are really beautiful. They work beautifully, but when I swatch them, it definitely feels different from this one. And then these three over here are all mattes, and the formula is definitely very different from the Chanel Quad mattes that they have now. Those are definitely much creamier. These are just, not just, but these are like more of just a typical kind of matte pressed powder kind of shadow. And I think they work beautifully. Both of these worked really nicely. I played around with this one a little bit. Works really beautifully. So I'm definitely a big fan of this palette, and I was a little bit skeptical. I'm not the biggest fan of Chanel palettes, like when they do special palettes, like they have those Le Beige palettes with the 5 kind of rectangles. I like the medium, like neutral one, but the light and the darker one, I just didn't like that formula at all. They didn't work out for me. And I love the quads that they have when they have mattes in there, but I'm not the biggest fan of like the really shimmery ones because I just feel like it's such a glitter bomb. So I definitely kind of proceeded with caution regarding this palette, but it's really beautiful. I have to say I'm very, very impressed with this palette. So anyway, that is my 2 cents. Let me go ahead and kind of finish up my makeup look, and I'll be right back. All right, so here's my finished look. I actually just threw on some of the Rouge Cocoa, I think it's just Rouge Cocoa, in 406 Antoinette on my lips. This is something I hauled, I believe I was with Mona. Yes, it was when she visited and we went to the Chanel boutique at Caesars. I got this and another color, and I haven't gotten a chance to use this one yet. I use the other color, Maggie, quite a bit because it's a little bit more like mauvey nude. But this one, Antoinette, is, well, what you see on my lips, but it has like kind of a burnt orange look to it. I really love it with this red eyeshadow. I think it looks really cool. So anyway, as usual, everything that is on my face will be down below in the description box, but that is it for this video. I am really, really pleased with everything that I purchased. The 9-pan eyeshadow palette, the Ombre Premier, that Balm Essential Sculpting Multi-Use Stick. I think it's really nice, and just to kind of give you an update on that, it definitely has dried down quite a bit. It's actually not really tacky at all. It just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like I don't know. I have stuff on my, like I have skincare on my skin. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. If you have any questions, subscribe before you leave. I would love that. And I'll see you in my next video.